So in 2026, let me give you a valid alternative to common sense investing. You should invest in vibe coding. So let me tell you my story. Every year I meet friends and they're always asking me the same thing. Hey Marco, what should I invest in? Should I buy that stock? Should I sell this other stock? That makes it very hard for me to judge whether or not they should buy or sell things because of one main thing: time. Whenever you want to buy a stock, you would need time to look at the balance sheet or the cash flow statement and all the other documents that are provided to you. So, long story short, what I was always saying to my friends was this: you will need to spend time into looking at those things before actually being able to judge whether or not it's a good investment. And yes, when I was saying that, I got a bad moment. Time was the key. Every one of my friends was actually looking for more time. That's why I thought about vibe coding. I know what you're thinking. Vibe coding is not investing. Well, actually, let me prove you that you're wrong. Not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. What would you expect from an investment? I think you can expect 3 things. The first thing is it should make you money over time. The second thing is that money should compound over time. And the third thing is you should, in theory, be able to sell it or getting paid whenever you want, realizing your capital gain. Let's now analyze the steps one by one. How does vibe coding make you money? Well, if you think about it, we are talking about vibe coding to automate stuff. If you are automating stuff, you are basically saving time. And you can see this from 2 points of view. The first thing would be time is your most valuable asset. So the more time you have for yourself, the better it is. You know that you cannot accumulate time. At the end of the day, there's no time that you can put on the bank and use it for later. So it's good for you if you free up as much time as you can to do whatever you want. I don't know, go out fishing, go out with friends, or playing football, or staying with the family. So that's one side of it. The other side is everyone should know how much 1 hour of your work cost. So if you know how much 1 hour of your time cost, you are indeed able to evaluate. If you haven't done it, just do it, work out the number. But in theory, when you work out the number, you are able to say how much time you saved because you have vibe coded something that freed that time up. The second aspect is a little bit less intuitive, but I have a perfect example for that. So how can vibe code compound over time? How can you compound a game over time with vibe coding? So that's a little bit less intuitive, but let me give you an example. Imagine that you vibe code an application that allows you to record your expenses automatically via an app. I actually did that. I'll post a video somewhere around so you can watch it. But let's imagine that you put together this application that allows you to track your expenses and enter your expenses from the phone. So if you work in a team and if you are an entrepreneur like I am, you can actually share that application with your team. If you saved like 30 minutes, 1 hour a week, that is something that also your team will be saving if you give them access to your app. But this will actually generate a compound effect on what you actually do, because of course, if you save time and your team saves time, well, that adds up, and that's your compounding effect. So the third thing might actually amaze you, but this is something that I see it every day. If you go back to the example I gave you a moment ago about Expense App, and if you structure it correctly with the right architecture, you're also able to sell that software as a SaaS, so as a software as a service. And you would eventually get paid a certain amount of money. It doesn't have to be like $1 million per month. It could be 10, I don't know, $5 a month, and that would be your dividends. So that's your proof that investing in vibe coding is equal to common sense investing. And of course, you also have one other greater addition, which is eventually as you become very good, so if your knowledge compounds, once again, the compounding effects, you will be able to sell the product for a lot of money, and there's your capitalized gain. There is one important thing that I've just mentioned that you also need to consider: knowledge. Knowledge is tax-free, so if you keep building on top of it day by day, that would lead you to more work and more opportunity over time. So this video will be half useless unless I share with you the 4-step method that I use to identify some potential vibe coding opportunity in my work. Here's my experience. I start by analyzing 1 month, and then I will split the month into parts: tasks that are recurring and tasks that are not recurring. Step number 2 would be looking at the tasks that are actually recurring. Step number 3 would be sorting them out and placing the task that takes more time at the very top. Step number 4 is actually focusing on just the top 3 tasks. And I'm pretty sure that 9 out of 10, there is a chance that I can automate those 3 with vibe coding. I know what you're thinking, and maybe you're an Uber driver and there's very little you can automate. Well, this is not actually something that is just related to work, because in my opinion, there are tasks that you can automate with vibe coding even in your daily life. For example, if you remember, the expense application that I built with vibe coding can help you also in your daily life. I guess that now what we can do is looking at the computer screen and try to vibe code something together.
Okay, cool. So there are definitely several ways that you can approach vibe coding and automation. And today I want to show you one very simple thing that you can do, but it's very powerful. So this involves the use of ChatGPT, but not just ChatGPT itself, but we are gonna create one custom GPT. So up over ChatGPT, you can see here on the left that we have these explore GPTs. So what you can do in here, as you can see from the top, is you can eventually create a custom GPT for yourself. So more or less it's like creating an agent that does a specific job for you. So in this case, as you can see, once you click create, you will land on this page. You have the possibility to configure your custom GPTs. So as you can see here, we have a list of fields like name, description, instructions, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do today is, let's consider the simple scenario for the test case. Let's suppose that you and your team, you require an automation to process and summarize sessions that you had with your customers or your prospects and eventually create follow-up emails. So your goal is to create a summary and an email that looks standard to your clients, and as well as lifting some work from the team. This is something that you could do. Potentially you could do it manually, but we want to have something that helps us in doing this job. So why I'm not using just ChatGPT to do so? This is very simple. Differently from GPT itself, this custom GPT allows me to enter some instructions. So this is very important. I can actually set in place some rules once and for all, and eventually this custom GPT will apply those rules over time and every time that I'm using the custom GPT. This is very powerful and important because I'm gonna do it once and then I can share it across the team. And for example, the tone of voice across the team will be always the same. So this makes your business be and look more professional. And I just need to do it only once, so which is great. So I already created some sample data just to give an idea. So I'm just going to copy some informations there. So I've already created some mockup data just for the sake of this exercise. So as a name, I'm gonna call it prospect call summarizer. So that gives you an idea. And then this is the description of the required task. So the description is turns bullet point meeting notes into a formal prospect discussion summary with decision, open question, and next steps. Outputs clean client ready text. So this is very neat, very precise. So of course this gives you like a huge benefit. And also I can paste the instructions in here. So this is like the general instruction that I'm gonna paste right now so we can read it together. So you are a business summarization system. Your job is to convert rough bullet points notes from a prospect discussion into a formal structured summary that can be shared internally or sent to the prospect. There is more that we can add to the instruction, and let me copy the instruction first into this box, and then we can have a look at the instructions together. Let me expand on it. So as you can see here, now we have different sections. So we have input, we have output, we have system rules, we have optional outputs, and fail safes. So if you follow this instruction, you are more or less guaranteed that the result is always neat, always clear, and you have less risk of generating some results that you don't actually like. I can share with you some more details in the way we use this specific structure. This can also be referred to as a markdown. So we have these sections here where we specify what we are describing underneath to the ChatGPT using lists, or eventually number the list. So what's the difference between a normal list like this and a numbered list like this? We don't care about the sequence that the system is actually following when we use the list, but whenever we want the system to consider a specific sequence, so to follow a specific sequence, we need to use numbered list. So this is very important for you, so get used to that. So let's close the instructions as of now, and then let's move to this conversation starters. I really like these conversation starters because they give you this pop-up that are available to your team. This is fairly useful because your team can simply go here and click this button, and the system knows already what needs to be done. So I'm going to add a couple of these just to facilitate the conversation this way, and there's no limit in how many you can add, but of course just keep it simple, keep it tight, so your team can actually go ahead and click the right button from the get-go. A couple of other important points: there is the possibility to attach a knowledge base, so you can actually upload one Word document, for example, that the system will read just to set the tone and to make sure that also the output from the custom GPT meets the tone that your company has. And there's also this section here about checking which model you want to use. That's entirely up to you. So I'm leaving this free to the team to choose whatever model they want, but also this section here that's called capabilities. So I'm also able to tell the system that it can interpret some code and do some data analysis if I have files that needs to be attached. Okay, so as you can see now, the left side of the GPTs is okay, and on the right side we have the preview. And what I can do, I can eventually copy and paste some mockup data and see how the system works. And there we go. So the system is providing us back some information about the prospect, in this case Acme Logistics. And as you can see, the structure of the output is very clean, very professional, and follows the steps that we've identified in the instruction. So a couple of more steps and we are good to go. As you can see here at the top, we have this create button. So if you click create, here is where we can set whether or not this ChatGPT is shared just with me or also with anyone that has the link. So it's entirely up to you if you want to keep it private or eventually share it with the team. Of course, if you share it with the team, that makes it easier for everyone to carry out similar job. So I'm saving this as myself because this is a test, and the system gives you the link that you can copy eventually, share it with your colleague, and when you go and click view GPT, now you are into your prospect call summarizer. As you can see, this is created by myself, and in case you want to access this GPT once more, you will find it here on the left. As you can see, setting up custom ChatGPT is fairly simple and it doesn't require any coding skill at all. Let me know in the comment what do you use custom GPT for, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Catch you all soon.